far away, of course, and outside of the trigger AoE.
The Lush is very positionally dependent as well, so you know, you're trying to get up in the fight and you get Corrosive Skin and you get Viper struck, and
one of the reasons why we see a lot of people go for the Boots of Travel early on Leshrac, because positioning means everything to you. You need to get the damage out by positioning yourself so your Pulse Nova is doing the most amount of work.
And okay, so it's actually G-Guard who ended up banning out the Bloodseeker. We've been seeing it run with the Nature's Prophet a little bit as well, so I think that's pretty heads up. And it just seems like it might becoming the hero of the SCA qualifiers at the moment, which I'm not opposed to.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun to watch. It's very high-paced. But he does bring some interesting elements in the Blood Rage, because it's a double-edged sword, right? You can maybe sometimes mess up if you Blood Rage a friend and he gets focused by the enemy really hard. Then you might even heal the enemy hero who gets the last hit. Like, there are very high punishments for messing up as a Bloodseeker, but also big rewards if you do play it well. Racer gets added here as well, so 5EVA looking like they have a very solid pushing lineup. Pretty good stunts and disable to lock the enemy down, and they have the split push as well. I think they have a pretty balanced draft. Question is if G-Guard in their last pick can secure themselves a stronger 5-man in the early game. I feel it could be hard with a Rubik, because he still needs his level 6 before he really does so much. Okay, they're gonna go with the Chen. Good way to try and secure early, but they run the risk of being split pushed a lot and just controlled here.
Yeah, I feel like both teams are running into a very similar timing here.
It looks super pink on this
oh yeah, on the preview monitor. Yeah, you're looking very snazzy. Oh, yes. But yeah, so it seems like both teams are running into kind of the same timing here. We're looking at the relatively fast mech, and they're trying to take down some towers. In terms of initiation, neither team looks necessarily all that impressive, at least for the early stages of the game. Of course, once Earthshaker picks up a Blink Dagger, say, then I think things tip towards 5EVA. And Earthshaker, of course, fantastic counter initiation with Fisher the whole game long. So, however, that could be tough for G-Guard.
The game has like an interesting curve gonna go on, right? I think that G-Guard is slightly stronger in the first 5 minutes of the game, I would say, because of Chen having the potential to come in with 2 creeps pretty early
Especially with Rubik as well.
Rubik is a great combination hero for Chen. You can get the lift off and then follow up, so that's a great combo to have. I would say 5EVA's draft peaks and gets stronger. We're gonna see him TP out here and block some camps. But then 5EVA's draft gets a little bit stronger, and then in the ultra late game, once again, I think G-Guard has the big advantage to have Viper and Gyrocopter, good for physical damage later on. And then, of course, the Zeus and his hard counter to Leshrac and any high HP hero. Razor pretty good against Zeus, though. You can't really spam on the Razor. It slows you down so much with the unstable current.
Yeah, 5EVA, they do have the Nature's Prophet, who can definitely scale up into the late game a little bit as well. So I don't know if it's a 100% win for G-Guard if it goes late, but I feel like people do, in general, underestimate Viper's carry potential somewhat. Like, personally, I'm not always a huge fan of Midas on Viper, but I think there are definitely situations where it's the right thing to go for, and being able to get up 1 or 2 big right-clicking items in the later stage of the game, Viper does a surprising amount. And even, you know, you talk about Midas, he's got another Toxin, but tends not to build a whole lot of attack speed, so I think it's actually a pretty substantial DPS boost for him.
Yeah.
Though I don't know if G-Guard want to sit back, really.
I think it's super important on Viper that you actually add up some physical damage items, like attack speed items. Some people just build a lot of survivability on Viper, and you frankly fall off really hard in the 35+ minute game. Like, you just turn into this unimpressive Viper. And one player I mentioned before that I really look towards when it comes to Viper is Valix in 4ASC. Used to play it so much back when Jarex was with them as well. And he always consistently had, like, you know, 300, 400 CS on Viper, and I just don't understand how he did it. But in that scenario, it can be really impressive. You can keep up the farm.
Okay, so Miracle is cliff jungling his Nature's Prophet here to start things out, because he TP'd out to go and block some of the Chen's camps. So the scourge of your pub strategies is going to be returning here, but Miracle kind of knows what he's doing, and he's just looking for his level 2 before he potentially heads to the offlane or just proceeds to the jungle. We'll see what he ends up opting for.
Yes. I mean, this is some LPQ strats being brought to you into the TI5.
He's moving around a little bit. He's repositioning the creeps. Yeah. You know, he's showing that he's still got some APM going on.
Honestly though, with the lane ward, of course, on the side of G-Guard on their safe lane, it would be very hard for Furion to get anything done when he doesn't have Treants, because Rubik can just go there and bully him away. Yep. You need the Treants to really contest there. But this also means complete free farm here for Winter as he does some pulls. Good ward gonna scout him out though, so they have at least the information that he went with the Chen now. And that, oh, look at him. Miracle goes in to take some creeps here. He's like, yeah, this is my turn.
I see you left. There's some juicy creeps ripe for the taking.
Yeah, there's a big one right there. Net seems to be a little bit aggressive though. Mid, gonna see if this
is in trouble. Lift's gonna come out, but the Fisher was waiting. Ysera anticipating this gank perfectly.
Oh god, that was so good. I mean, that's pretty much what you do as a Shaker though. Very often you just sit mid and wait for the first rotation, because everyone rotates early towards mid lane. That's like standard. If you have Chen, you will gank mid lane. But nice prediction there, and the Fisher was perfectly positioned, or timed, I should say. Kind of both, honestly. He just shut down the telekinesis because he couldn't position the toss at all.
Yeah, and totally prevented the Centaur from getting in position either. Yep. The other bit of information that, extra information that Five ever got there was that the Rubik specifically left the lane and was heading off to the east. And you could tell that he was going to group up with Chen, and they were probably looking for a gank over towards the mid lane.
That one early ward was really good for him to have. And the other one that they put down to counter the Chen was just sentryed. So Chen is not going to suffer too much. His gank failed, but it doesn't hurt you that much. He should try and switch his creep, because the Centaur farms extremely slowly. He should probably just go to a big camp right now and take a different one. This is not very effective farming. And he definitely wants to stack. Yeah, he's going to go for a stack now in the big camp. I think he might be too late. We'll see. Ah, he got it, I think.
Yeah, so that's pretty good. He's got the Satyr as well. He could even throw that towards the mid lane, put a bit of harassment onto the Lesh, and then look for a second or a couple more stacks on these neutrals here, because he's already seen the Wild Wing.
Yeah, there's a Wild Wing, so he could start stacking if he wants to, but he's gonna go for the straight up farming it. Just gonna hammer it down. I think he could have been more effective if he just did what you said there, but still, Shaker's just casually hanging around mid. Very good scouting here.
The TP coming in as well. There's 3 heroes now on mid lane. Fisher not quite on the right side, but it's still going to set up for the split earth. And a few more auto attacks are going to be the death of Yamate as Chibix draws the first blood.
Yamate gonna go down on the mid lane. One of the oldest mid laners that come to mind in this qualifier, actually, or in any of these qualifiers.
Yeah.
Just a super experienced player from Dota 1 times. Very famous for his Shadow Fiend back in the days, of course.
He's been around the block for sure.
Oh, yeah. But good gank, good execution. When you have Leshrac mid, you can easily gank for him. It's so good of a hero. He has the slow, he has the stun, and super good cast range on both of them, honestly. So, good to make use of that. And Furion gonna be pretty happy now. He has boots and building to the come fucking gratis build. The standard double null.
Okay. Easy peasy, TP around a lot, keep up the pressure, keep on ganking. Ysera again just finds his way into the trees, but there are 3 heroes here from G-Guard Winter trying to anticipate another gank making its way onto the Viper.
They're going.
But in comes a chain stun. They are going to be able to lift up Chaos and prevent the final nukes coming in, but Yamate is still going to end up dropping. Hatred on Chibix just barely fading as they run away from this mid lane, and it looks like Five will pick up another easy kill. And that was with G-Guard trying to stop them.
Yeah, G-Guard did have the Rubik in position straight off the bat there, but they just bring in 4 people. It's hard for a Rubik to do that much when 4 people come ganking. I mean, he got a good lift off on the Lina there and stopped her for a while, but it's just hard to prevent your mid from dying in that scenario. Shaker could maybe have done it if he was on G-Guard's team. Like,
and Winter as well. Ysera is making so much happen here on mid lane. Just every single time, runs over into these trees, drops a Fisher, gets the block, and sets up another kill. This is...
They also have the vision advantage on mid. Like, G-Guard have to remove that. If they don't sentry mid lane, they're in a really bad spot. But none of their supports right now have any sentry.
Yeah, this is about as good a start as you could hope for the Lesh this game. And they're just going to keep on rolling and make their way up to top lane, actually bringing both the Razor and the Lesh to top to help hold on to this tier 1 tower a little bit longer. Lina is going to take over bottom lane, so it's not like they're missing out on too much farm, but it is a pretty big investment to have both of those cores make their way over to try and hold on to that tier 1 tower.
Yeah, it definitely is. So just going to see He's this offlane Zeus running around a little bit. He is trying to steal some farm in the jungle right now. He has been spotted though, and he has no tango and CD TP. So if Furion gets this TP on him, he could sprout him if he wants to. Well, I gotta let him run.
Yeah, looks like Lina not really able to close the gap all that well, so
yeah,
she wasn't call it quits.
She wasn't close enough.
Okay, so Miracle's still just farming out the jungle. He's about to reach his level 6, so that's probably another attempted gank there that he's gonna go for once he has the Wrath of Nature up.
They got the D-ward mid. That's big.
Oh, nice. That's
if they did not get that, really as important. I said, it would have been really terrible for him. So well done. And that's gonna secure the mid lane a lot more for Viper. He's gonna have an easier time as Shaker doesn't have perfect info on where everyone is.
No, the Fisher comes in.
Even then, some harass.
Yeah, just poking and prodding at Yamate. He is not having a whole lot of fun here on mid.
He definitely isn't.
I think the other big reason that 5eva chose to rotate heroes towards the top lane like that was because the Chen was also somewhat committing to come in for the push. So a little bit of extra value to send somebody there to deal with.
Oh, the rotation is coming from bottom lane now,
yeah.
And it's not really revealed yet. I don't think they have any idea right now of what's going on. They're pinging though. I think they might just back out here. See if Lina gets caught out, if he's greedy enough.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to soak up this last little bit of experience.
Yeah, he wants the experience as much as possible. And he walks out pretty far. Viper gets one auto attack. Could ulti her now.
Nice stun onto 2. Chaos getting lifted up, just throwing as much return fire as he can, and the Fisher is going to finish off the Rubik. Sprout coming in as well for Miracle. Looks like Ling definitely slated to fall, and Yamate now making his way over to the trees. Gyrocopter Net making his way down, drops a perfect call down onto 2.
Oh,
There's
wow.
still the Razor off to the side along with Miracle as the Wrath of Nature bounces in.
Oh, he doesn't want to turn and link him. I think he could have kept fighting there. But Razor gonna respect the enemies and back off a little bit. Very good entrance there by the Gyrocopter. Good rotation. And gonna give him an Ogre Club for his trouble. He has 60 CS at 8 minutes and now, of course, been part of one gank.
Yeah, turns that overall exchange into a 3 for 2. I think G-Guard were hoping for the easy pickup and then transitioning into a tower. I don't know if they were necessarily expecting 5eva to bring as many heroes down bot as they did, but really good awareness from Net. Made sure that he had a TP available to get down there, get involved, and kind of salvage the fight after the initial turnaround for 5eva.
This patch is really the patch of always be ready to join your team. I mean, carry a TP and so on is like that's an old mantra, right? In Dota, everyone should always do that. But in this patch, it's even more important earlier on. Like even at 7 minutes in, you'll be ready as a carry to go down and join and fight. That's why heroes that carry and fight well in the early game are preferred, like Gyrocopter, like sometimes Lishrak or Bloodseeker.
Plus the bottom lane gets caught out and just gets right-clicked down with a few bolts from the Zeus. I do end up investing the Thunder God's Wrath for that, but I think kind of worth it. Ben is trapped in the trees
He's just juking
right now.
spells, dude. He's just hiding, doing really well as well. He didn't get hit by any of those spells. Gonna live and walk away.
Yamate keeps on chasing after Ysera, but makes it back to the safety of the tier 1 tower.
Yeah, the Furion ulti, sending it now, but it's not gonna kill the Zeus. He almost died though.
He's TPing, he wants it.
Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah, okay. Looks like Ben is gonna be alright. He's hanging out to a Quelling Blade at the moment, I think primarily for...
Oh no, Fisher! So greedy, he walks back with like 100 HP there. And that might at least... I don't even think that's gonna prompt them to D-ward. Oh, top?
Top lane, TP coming in. Who are they looking for? Net was going for the tier 1 tower. They are gonna be able to bring it down. Sprout does not land, but nice splitter. Catches on the very edge. He's going to do as much damage as he can before he falls. But Miracle and Chivik's just going to run to the east, and there's no help on its way for Ling as Pawson loops in from behind.
The creeps are mad at him, but there's no hero around. All these creeps from Chen are going to go down, and that hurts you a lot. Losing all your creeps as a Chen, it sets you back quite a bit. You have to go out and find 3 more useful creeps before you can really contribute anything to your team, as you're not even level 6 and can't really gank. So
yeah, this has actually had a pretty hard game. We talked about how, he only had the 1 jungle camp really blocked, and they managed to de-ward that pretty quickly, but still only level 5.5 on Ling 10 minutes into this game. Fortunately, they're not relying on him for the mech since Viper is buying it.
Yeah.
This is not looking all that promising.
No, they're trying to do a lot with the early rotations and so on, but 5eva is just on top of their game there to the mid lane. So very tough for a Chen to do that much. Maybe he should have played more greedy roles, stacking, as he got the Wild Wing that early. Because I feel Chen is very much an organic hero. You have to look at what you have and then react to that. You can't just play him in a static, same way every game. Because it is influenced a lot by what creeps you find.
Yeah, it's all about those opportunities, right? You find a Dark Troll.
Yeah, exactly.
Dark Troll.
Dark Troll is probably the best creep because he can farm fast or gank. Like, he has the opportunities. But Chen...
there's level 7 on this Lina. Net needs to be careful. They've got the chain stun coming in. Is it going to be enough? Rapid Nature bounces in as well. Laguna Blade flies. They're going to tank some call down damage, but that's Net hitting the deck.
Wow.
Second time in a row as well there.
Alone and really far down in the offlane there. That's very scary for him. And not really that good to die on your Gyrocopter after having such a good start. And yeah, as you said, he died twice now in very rapid succession. So, I mean, he obviously did die top first to the Leshrac and Dengank up there. But he just can't find a safe lane right now.
Yeah, Winter leading his team to loop around here on the mid lane. They do have the mech up on their Viper. Getting close to the Hand of God on Chen, but not there just yet. He's managed to pick up a decent little roster of creeps here as they make their way down bottom for pretty much the exact same play that they were going for earlier. Big wraparound gank into trying to push the tier 1. Winter continues to lead the charge here. Tranquil Bits have been broken. Sprout is actually going to close things in, but the Thunder God's Wrath is going to give them the vision.
That was so sick.
And
they
get the lift off.
actually used the Cowling Blade on Gyrocopter to eat just the right trees so they could get the vision to lift him there.
Okay, they used the Zeus ulti as well. But
yeah, the Zeus ulti came after the lift was done though, so it was really sick timing by Gyrocopter. He was charging him for that. And of course, you're going to be carrying a casual Cowling Blade very often as you're up against the Nature's Prophet.
Okay, so they do... This time around, the play that they were going for is a little bit more successful. Chipix, however, tries to get the tower mid, but Zeus actually manages to get the deny. Bottom lane, however, cooldowns come in. Sarah going to tank Rocket Barrage damage, does manage to drop off the Echo Slam, and Net is quite low, but gets mech'd up by the Viper on the retreat out.
Attempt on mid lane as well. They're going to get Ben here, probably. Miracle can just attack walk him, should be killing him. Bottom lane, trying to go in again. Razor overcommitting a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, it gets netted up. Couple of auto attacks along with the Viper Strike and just gets brought down by Yamate. So split fight all around the map.
Yeah, but Zeus did get the deny against the Leshrac mid. That's pretty crazy. Like, Zeus has really terrible damage. And
his attack, his animation is also not too impressive either.
Yeah, it's one of those, like, it's really not that great. So extremely well done by Zeus to get the deny. Sadly, he did go down, but that also meant that his team came out on top on the bottom lane. As two heroes were committed to killing Zeus.
Yeah, fortunately, Chen getting quite a few levels out of that last fight as well. Yeah, with the Holy Persuasion now maxed out, so he's got his 4th creep, and he's got the Hand of God finally picked up. So the push sustain and the teamfight power is starting to build a little bit. I think part of the reason that Net has gone for this Ogre Club first as well on his Gyrocopter, some people do opt for the Mytho Hammer as the first item out of their BKB, is that there's a lot of other little bits of health that he can gain if he just survives the burst for long enough. Hand of God can come in, the mech can be used, and for that reason the Gyrocopter could turn out to be deceptively tanky at this relatively early stage.
I honestly think he should have continued and built the entire drums though, because it's a good item again. Like, after the extra 10 attack speeds and no other change really, it's once again a pretty useful item for heroes like Viper and Gyrocopter to use. You can quickly dump all your flak cannon charges, but he opted not to go for it. It's a fine decision as well. But he does need a BKB as soon as possible, so I understand his decision there. And drums are being purchased by the Razor, of course. Going for it.
Oh, yeah, they found an Invis Rune, and he's cruising around in the Radiant jungle. He's going to find Pelosin, and we'll manage to bring him down. One stun's being used. He might try
for Yazira as well.
Yeah, he's looking for it. Ysera just staying in the fog at the moment. Chipix does land a nice stun, and Ysera coming in looking to chain it up.
So tanky.
Yamate, they just can't bring him down. He pops the mech, and now the rest of G-Guard are on their way in. They do have the ultimate bouncing through for the Nature's Prophet. Buyback from the Rage, so they want to punish this as hard as they can.
Oh, it's GTFO time for G-Guard.
Yeah, but double TP. Wait. Laguna Blade.
Oh, boy.
Kills Zeus in the fountain.
Dead in his fountain. That will happen to you sometimes. That's the keyboard smashing moment. But that's pretty fine. They forced out the buyback, and did you see why they didn't kill the Viper as well? Because they thought that, oh, he can't be alone. who would be alone here and go for a kill?
Who would dive all the way into...
What kind of a guy would do that? But of course, he was alone. And if they knew that he was alone, Leshrac could have walked in on him and kept using his Pulse Nova. Because he had plenty of mana and didn't really use his Nova that much. Because he didn't want to run into a Viper fully and risk getting lift by Rubik or something like that. But yeah, aggression
coming up.
Aggression paying off for G-Guard. Okay,
so Gyro not going to end up going for that. The Lesh did get scouted out, I think, just a tiny bit by that Dire Ward up on the cliff. Chubix has managed to pick up his Bloodstone at this stage, so farm's going to start accelerating a little bit for him. And he's actually your net worth leader as this game goes right now, sitting at about 6.8k. 5EVA are actually grouping up somewhat. They've got the Nature's Prophet off, farming the jungle, of course, ready to come and participate at any time. Miracle's got his Blade Mail completed, and KS looking for the combo onto net, but a little bit too tanky. The Hand of God forced out. Yamate also TPing in here to the tier 1 tower, though it has been brought down. KS just going to defensively TP out. Ysera, well, also going to try for it, and Wind is actually stuck behind the Fissure.
He was trying to get as close as possible for a lift, but not really in range. Good play there by the Shaker, blocking off the path before he TP'd out.
Yeah, stopped the leader from taking any unnecessary damage or getting lifted, and fortunately managed to save himself by being in just the right place when he dropped that one. So
pretty good.
They get some TPs, they get the rotation, and they get the tier 1 tower.
I just want to point out, this game is ultra even right now. It's like 500 difference. The disparity between their different net worth and experience is really, really low. So we'll see who can manage to claim a little bit of an advantage. I think this favors G-Guard, though. If they can hold the game being even-ish, then they're looking pretty good with their Viper and Gyro carry later on. And yeah, would be great if we can get some more air conditioning in here.
Well, someone has turned it off.
Oh, that's an interesting strat. That no air conditioning casting room with closed doors and windows.
Yeah, I was definitely starting to feel it a little bit. Anyway,
it's really warm. Anyway, it's bottom lane. Oh, that feels so great. Bottom lane, they do get the Gyrocopter, brought him down. The good combination. They pretty much rotate everyone here. Furion is pushing top, of course, but he can join at any time. And
this Lina Yule Scepter has done so much work. I really like the decision from 5EVA to rotate the Razor relatively early. Not a hero that you normally think of as like, oh, he's going to leave the safe lane and free it up for somebody else to farm, but KS has got so much done.
Just with the Yule Scepter, you're really turning in from being a support and being really weak and doing not that much in teamfights. Like you can follow up on the Shaker and whatever, but when you have your Yules, you can act like a core. You are self-sufficient. You can go in and combo anyone and set up for your team instead of just relying on them setting up for you. So it's a great item. Even though the mana cost was increased for it, doesn't really hurt Lina that much. You can still get off your full combo.
Yeah. It's interesting that the Razor is pretty much neck and neck with the Lina right now, so Pelosa not doing all that well in terms of overall farm, but the rest of his team is kind of keeping up for him. Does definitely need to start grabbing some more items though, and
they have a very...
that BKB is always so important.
Yeah, there's gonna be a smoke into Roshan right now by G-Guard. Not the fastest Roshan heroes, but they do have a medallion on Chen, so they have itemized for this and committing to this kill. Also have the Alpha Wolf that are gonna scout with their Zeus ulti. No one is defending top, so this is a big tell that they're doing Roshan right now. They have Zeus kind of sitting around, but 5EVA, they should know what's up, but they're not going to be there in time to stop it, I think. Yeah. Lina is going to look for it, though.
Lesh does have a TP and a haste, and this is taking a little bit longer than G-Guard perhaps expected.
Oh yeah, the creeps are dying. Like, Chen is like my babies. And
he can pop the Head of God, but that's going to make it even more suspicious.
He'll probably throw it out after they kill Roshan. Yeah, and just get some HP up, or maybe just hold on to it even.
Okay, so they've got two really big timings here. They've hit the BKB on the Gyrocopter. He's got his Aegis up now.
And that was a bad send home.
Yeah, Net wanted to farm the stack.
Net just used his flat cannon and wanted to farm the Ancients, and Chen sends him home. So that's a miscommunication for sure. He had a triple stack on Ancients, and you don't want to waste flat cannon like that.
And they didn't stack it again either. So
no, and they had the timing to do it right there, but of course it gets messed up when you send home like that. The aggro pull gets weird. Very good spread here on the Treants by Miracle. Of course, infamous Naga Siren player, pretty used to microing.
Yeah, and 5EVA, as much as they do lose that Roshan, they get a lot done in the meantime. The tier 2 goes down top. Chipik's making really good use of the haste rune to be able to get around and get in there, despite the fact that the Viper was trying to defend it. And the tier 1 tower bottom is going to end up being last hit by Plossin. So he had a slightly slow start to the game and was sitting a couple of K net worth behind the rest of the cores, but he's started to close the gap somewhat here. Chaos and Ysera coming in, looking for Ben on mid lane, but he's just going to run for it, and looks like he's actually going to be all right. This Zeus is picking up also a pretty decent amount of farm this game.
Offlane
Booster and
offlane Zeus, I mean, it's going to be a later timing for your items than something like a mid Zeus, of course, but he will have his Bloodstone pretty soon, and that's still a big item to pick up. They can also use him, of course, to try and deward some of these like Lego wards that they have dropped here. This ward is really cute, but I don't know what's up with it. Looks so strange.
Little Centurion ward or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Got a little suit of armor. He's also made of roots or tentacles or something. I don't know.
I'm not really sure. But
I don't know what the lore is.
If Zeus can find him, he will nuke here again. So yeah, he will get the deward. Alright, so spot on.
This is the Bloodstone on Zeus lets him get a lot of farm, but maintain a full mana pool and just deward wherever he wants. Really.
It's more like, don't really know which item would have done a bigger impact for him as an offlane Zeus. Like, what item does really propel you that much? You need to have more HP. If you just go Blink and Force Staff or something, you don't have the mana to sustain, and you die very easily if you do get caught out. And it's still very expensive. It's the Bloodstone gonna make you really tanky so you don't just straight up die to a Lina or something. And it's going to allow you to keep throwing spells the entire fight, and thus kind of forcing someone to do something about him.
Yeah, and he's also a very important hero to have alive for tower defenses and whatnot if 5-ever do end up coming in and looking for something. So, you know, we talk about the mana regen, but there's also all of the little extra perks that you get. The
getting
respawn time, the experience, all counts for a lot. The heal.
Vision. Yep.
On your team as well, if you want to go for the clutch suicide to save your carry. Not always the worst decision.
We've seen it before in this qualifier. The
Lesh getting slowed down by the Viper Strike. Those boots of travel get him a little bit further away, but
Ysera just holding on way too long on the Fissure there. He didn't think that his teammate was going to die at all, I think. But that's a Bloodstone death by Leshrac, so down to 6 charges now.
Yeah, he's going to be back in about 10 seconds time, so we were just talking about the reduced respawn, working out nicely here. Winter waiting just off into the fog, looking for lift, but a Fissure is going to keep things split out as Winter just gets his hands on a creep there. But G-Guard keep on trucking. They've got this Aegis in hand, and they're keen to pick up this tier 2 tower.
They have the Chen heal as well, so they can keep going here. I would like to see him use
Fissure splitting off net. Can they drop this Aegis? They are going to be able to. He'll be back soon. The rest of the team still rallying around him right now. Nice deny from the Razor as well coming in.
Yeah, that's good. They also got the tier 2 bottom. Should be mentioned that Miracle is on top of his split push game here. So really important for
when
his
is
team.
he not?
Yeah, exactly. Very important for his team that he gets something out of this. And they got the deny, so that's really big. I would say, despite losing the Leshrac, this is not terrible for 5-ever. However, you want to be careful about giving up map control to G-Guard. If they can take over the map even a little bit, then you don't have the best heroes at just dealing with that.
Yeah. The unfortunate thing, it seems, for G-Guard is that they may not have had any wards along with them as they came in for that push, or maybe Winter did, but they had to retreat hastily enough that they weren't able to replace any deeper wards, really. So it's just kind of vision around the river for the most part. They had one ward over here just by the tier 2, or between the tier 1 and the tier 2 as they came in for the push, but seemingly didn't find the opportunities to place anything over by these westernmost camps or anything like that.
It's the infamous Racer farming Ancients with his ulti. I've
RTZ strats.
I had some talk about this with players before and confirmed how bad it is, but yeah.
Because it targets the small creeps, and those aren't the ones that you want to
It's always going to target
armor.
It's always going to target the target with the lowest amount of HP.
Absolute HP.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So lowest amount of current HP is the targeting, and doesn't really speed up your farming that much as those creeps. Doesn't really matter. If it targeted the highest ones, it would actually have been better for you in this case.
Yeah, it's a bit weird, but Plus is just going to keep on zapping away, and he'll hopefully finish up his BKB.
Yeah,
one day.
You can truly tell how it takes forever for him to farm the Ancients, though.
I mean, this is ultimate number 2.
Yeah, and it's a pretty long. It's a 70-second cooldown. So he's been here for over a minute, pretty much a minute and a half now, and he's still working on the Ancients. And it wasn't that massive of a stack. Granted, he did stack it once more when he farmed it though. So,
fair enough.
So well done by him. Efficiency and stuff. Very good.
Okay, so Nature's Prophet, he's picked up Maelstrom, a little bit of extra split push and whatnot. He can pick up a Mjolnir a little bit later on to throw the static charge buff potentially on his Razor, or his Leshrac for that matter, since they're both going to be in the front lines pretty consistently. And then he ends up going back for a BKB, which I think makes a lot of sense here against the Zeus, and just that hero alone, I think you have incentive to look towards BKBs this game. And
it's
Lesh also going to be.
I feel he goes for this item mostly because now he can pressure so much harder on the sideways all the time.
They can't punish him.
Exactly.
Well, they can force him to BKB, but
yeah, but that's what his BKB is going to be for. I mean, yes, it's kind of nice to have it when you TP him behind the enemy lines as well to just fight better. But this is mainly I can split push as far as I can kind of BKB, so he can always TP out safely. The only thing that could stop him is like a troll creep, which there are two, of course, but they're with the Chen army.
I'd like to see a relatively early pair of Boots of Travel from someone on G-Guard to help deal with some of this split push, but we'll hold that thought because Yamate's BKB'd and has got running it on KS, who's going to self-Yules and buy a little bit of space. Sarah is actually running all the way out because Miracle is TP'd into the back lines. Pops his BKB, has tried to fight, but 5-Eva 2 split up.
Yeah, I don't know why he TP'd in right there. They forced out BKB and should be happy with that. I think you don't pursue there. There's too much.
I think they wanted to fight because they knew that the Zeus was bottom and it would have been a 4v5, but
yeah, but that's the thing about Zeus is that he doesn't have to be there. He can still mess up heroes like Shaker and so on, and they were so close to Blink Dagger and Shaker. He died and he now has 1900 gold, so he must have been like 2200 or something.
Yeah.
Really, really sad for the Shaker.
He really wanted to back up Miracle, but everybody else kind of realized, oh man, this is not a fight that's happening anymore.
Yeah.
And just backed themselves up.
I think you need to have the discipline there as the Shaker, though, to just say, hey guys, I'm like 50 gold away from Blink. Don't take the fight now, just back out and let them have this tower. Sometimes you have to sacrifice a tower and just give it up. And maybe they could have done some more split pushing when they just profit there, even against the Zeus. Just try and deal any damage onto the tier 3 tower bottom.
I like this so much from the Zeus. This is exactly what I was about to say, actually, before we got into that tier 2 fight. When you're dealing with these split push oriented heroes like the Nature's Prophet, all you want is somebody that can, stay at base, clear things out. Yes. And then by picking up a pair of Boots of Travel, you've always got that threat that you can also go and join your team at a moment's notice, especially when you've got a hero like Chen who can safely leave a creep in the back or in the trees and always give you a consistent target to TP on.
True. You know what I want to see in this game? I want to see Yamate just now, after Sanjiasha, just build into Skadi as well. It sounds pretty overkill, but that way just one single attack onto Leshrac and that guy is standing still. He's not running down anyone, and it's a really good hard counter to these heroes that rely heavily on their movement but don't have something like Force Staff or Blink Daggers, so you can really shut them down. And there's of course no escape mechanism as well in Leshrac, so if you can get that fact that one hit is going to slow him down so much, it could be a really great itemization for Viper, since Gyro is going to bring most of the damage anyway for his team. In the physical
Thunder God's Wrath comes out, scouting 5-Eva as they are somewhat split up here over in the Dire Jungle. Ysera has managed to pick up his Blink. What he doesn't know is that Net's waiting right on top of him with an Invis Rune, gets focused down immediately with the Rocket Barrage. And now Chibik's trying to escape, might just be forced to BKB TP out. He's going to try for the TP, but Winter comes out of nowhere with the stolen teleport and lifts him up. How does that happen?
Winter just landing the sickest gank there. So he had the Fury and teleport, TP's in, and grabs him.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, they're not going to get him. This TP without the BKB is going to be fine. And then Rubik pops out of the ground and lifts him.
After the lightning bolt, I was just like, yeah, they're not going to kill him. But that was a massive pickup for Winter. Well played to have that ready and available. And now
I think he should have kept the teleport and not stolen this Pulse Nova.
Yeah, maybe. He just wanted to kill him really quickly there as well. Yeah. Can't blame him. There we see TP out. Viper can't really do much against Furin, other than scare him away, which can be good enough. It's gonna secure some free farm here for Viper on bottom lane. And I wonder what the Furin wants to itemize into next. Desolator is arguably a good item if you want to take these towers down. But I think he might go for something more useful in the team fights.
Like a Hex, maybe?
Exactly. Having Hex is pretty good. Arguably, Assault Cuirass is useful for him as well if you want to, but I think Hex is just the best here. TPing him behind, hexing someone and BKBing is a great way to secure that you get a lot of right clicks out. The guy's gonna stand pretty still when you hit him, and then you can follow up with a Sprout.
I think it helps a lot as well to help the Leshrac do damage. Because I was looking at it and I was about to say, oh, well, I think your build depends somewhat on how your Razor is doing, because if the Razor is going to be able to actually build up a right-click item at some point, like an AC, then maybe you can be a little bit more utility-based. Yeah. And then I looked at the Razor and I was like, oh, he's not doing that great. Maybe he needs to build right-click. But I think the Hex is just fine, because you come in, you Hex somebody, and then you've got this very farmed Lesh to hopefully deal with the captive target and do a lot of damage. And so Hex, I think Hex is a good item.
Hex is also a very good item every single time you have AoE stunts, AoE abilities in general, because it locks down the enemy and keeps them still, so it's easier to land your spells perfectly. They have Leshrac, Lina, and Shaker, so definitely great to add some single target into this mix. But they're gonna go for Shivas on Leshrac and Assault Cuirass onto Razor here. So both of them tanking up a lot with the physical armor, which is, of course, needed against Viper and Jarrow. Split push coming in here, both teams pushing. Gonna get the Yules on Zeus.
KS is so
fast. So fast, dude.
Good to travel, too good. And Ben gonna be left to defend the base at the moment as the rest of the team is pushing down bot, but it's everyone on 5 actually pressuring up onto the high ground here. Pelosin laying in with some auto attack. Miracle doing the same. Gets some extra scouting off of the Sprout, as well as summoning up a few more Treants to keep on working away here. G-Guard getting drawn back. They do leave Ling, well, down in the Radiant jungle for a little bit longer. He's actually got 4 Dark Trolls.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice, but
that's a sick army he's building here.
It's the BKB counter, dude.
It's a very conscious decision. He has been saving up and making sure to suicide his other creeps as well. He had Wild Wings and Centaurs before, but he got rid of them. So 2 of these Dark Trolls have been around forever.
These skeletons are so spooky.
Yeah. I mean, he could summon the entire spooky army. He could have 16 of these warriors up at the same time. But then, like, one lightning storm and
they all get echo slams.
That would be
that would be the saddest thing for the skeletons.
That would be the anti-play, yeah. Okay. Top lane, they're all kind of setting up for Viper here, but remember that Zeus can join.
Stun him as well.
Zeus can join at any time as well.
The Fisher, BKB comes out. Thunder Gods are out as well. Ysera's going to die in 3 auto attacks. And Yamate is not done just yet. KS does have a Yules, but Viper... Okay, BKB's going to wear out. He could just try and Yules TP, but the Zeus is right there as well. Yeah. And that's just 2 kills fed to the Viper.
There's a reason you don't focus Viper same as you don't focus a Tidehunter, really. It's very similar. And going on Viper there, he didn't even need much help. He just killed him on his own.
Travels mid. They're going to take full advantage of the fact that the Earthshaker is dead for 10 seconds. Yeah, and just start working away at this tier 3. There is a glyph available for 5-Eva, and they're going to be forced to use it. Still 30 seconds dead, actually, on Lina.
Spooky, scary skeletons tanking as much as they can, but the troll's going pretty low here.
But Pipe's going to get popped. They've still got the Hand of God in reserve.
He should make sure to keep his creeps alive. They're pretty big in this fight.
Yeah, and Lesh is looking at these Dark Trolls and just thinking, I can't run in. Yeah. He can't afford to get netted for, what, 5-6 seconds? Exactly. It's more than enough for these 2 physical right-clicks.
Oh, he's going to go for the Razor Trap. Look at this. BKB. Oh, that's cute.
BKB outside. Here comes the second trap. That's going to prevent the Earthshaker from getting in here. Pelosin not taking that much damage, but they were just focusing on the other heroes to begin with. And now his BKB is going to wear off. Yamate getting into auto attacks. And the flak cannon attacks do manage to finish off the Razor. Not going to tank a Laguna Blade, but he's still alive for the time being. And the Aegis is still up over on him.
Back to Regen, though, is doing so much work. They couldn't actually kill it. And look at Miracle. He's just cutting every single creep wave now, hugging the creeps on the dire side of the map. So they get forced to TP out. They did, however, win very convincing fights there, and the Trolls did their job.
What? Radiant Courier, what are you doing out here, my friend?
It's traveling. It's going places.
He's a journeyman.
I didn't see if it actually brought like a TP scroll or something for Fear.
I don't think so. It stopped a bit short.
Yeah, I didn't think it brought anything there. Want to point out that the Viper, who died twice very early on by ganks, is now on a godlike streak. Yeah. And he didn't go for the Scotty, but he goes for something that works kind of similar. He's going to go for the Heart so that he can walk in and just stay onto the Leshrac even more. It does provide slightly more HP than the... Oh, bottom. They actually go on him. They jumped him with a slam, but he just BKBs and turns. Once again, same story. Yeah, like 3 of you go on Viper. You bring him to half HP with ultis. It's just not cutting it.
Yeah, the Thunder Gods are out. They see the Lina coming around. Oh, they see the Lesh coming around the corner. They do manage to bring him down as 4 heroes arrive. on bottom lane, and finally 5EVA finds some kind of a turnaround.
In the end,
they do end up getting the 2 core kills.
Yeah, in the end that was great for 5EVA as they got the Beyond Godlike streak. That's a lot of gold going the way of Leshrac. But there was a suicide on Leshrac, and they used so much resources, no Echo Slam or anything, that mid is just exposed. I don't see how they're gonna hold now after using that much resources to kill a Viper, who can just buy back and travel in here.
Yeah, melee barracks getting focused down. Hey, Earthshaker, no Echo Slam, ready to defend. G-Guard just staying grouped up. Ellison running in, trying to get the link off, but gets 0 damage from it. Ben also rejoining this fight. He's actually just looking for a refresher right now with a double Perseverance. Ysera once again.
Sarah.
Just going to get right-clicked down by Yamate. The call's coming in, and it's going to land onto 3. Miracle running away with his Blade Mail active, but Yamate and Net just do not care.
Yeah.
Oh,
double
lordy.
buybacks coming in here. The TPM the Razor, he actually cancels it. Just gonna have to run all the way.
It's on a net, but they need to stop the Satanic from popping off. He gets a little bit of right-click back, but the Blade Mail from Miracle actually ends up making the differences. He's the one who tanks those auto attacks. Ling gonna try for the TP out, but the chain stun comes through, and 5EVA have to get as much as they can out of these buybacks. Ben. Zeus is fast, but is he fast enough?
Definitely not gonna be able
sure.
to run away.
Yamate's re-engaging 2 auto attacks from the side and then slinks back into the fog, finishes off the lead.
Flying Snake. He can just TP out now straight, and there shouldn't be a stun in time. Nope, actually fine. So good by G-Guard still. They lost a few heroes, but they took the mid-racks. A little bit undisciplined way of pushing, I feel. They could have taken this much safer. Because I don't think 5EVA should hold when they don't have Echo Slam or anything. But they did force double buyback. The Furin and Razor expended their buybacks there. And that kind of sets Razor back in a position where he's not finishing any important item anytime soon. Look at him.
Yeah, he's pretty small right now.
Refresher on Zeus.
That's
that's
so much damage.
Some Bloodstone info there. That if your Bloodstone charges are equal to or higher than your level, then you instantly respawn. Because they actually lower your respawn time that much. Good intel.
I hadn't even thought about it that way, but yeah. Respawn time is a function of level, and yeah, there you go. You learn something new every single day.
They recently tweaked the base respawn though, so you respawn slower on level 1 and stuff. But
true.
The rule pretty much still applies, I believe. If your Bloodstone is the same level as your hero, you should still instant respawn.
Alright, so Miracle is back on the split push game. He spawned some treants, but it's right on top of Ben. He's just waiting in the trees there. Yeah. Okay, so he's just going to run back and TP himself out. The Razor, like you were talking about, just has nothing right now. He's not doing a whole lot of damage. G-Guard is slowing him down enough to the point where he's not even getting static link off in these fights, and he can't stand against the right click of either the Gyrocopter or the Viper.
When Razor gets run down by Viper completely and just dies running away, then you know you're in a bad spot, because that matchup is very important, that the Razor can link the Viper and just tank up against him until he has no damage. But if he can't do that, then Razor is not serving his purpose at all. He's just, he's just there for plasma fields, and that's not why you pick the hero. So falling behind the net worth really hurts him in this matchup. I mean, he's like half the net worth of Viper, so it's really tough to do anything.
Yeah. It's interesting because I feel like Miracle and Chivix also have a lot of farm, but they haven't been able to do too much with it just yet. Yamate just tanks through everything. Right-click war going on up here. Pulse Nova getting blocked by the BKB as Yamate finally ends up fading. Chivix going to try for the TP out here. There's no Dark Trolls this time around. Miracle also over in the trees. Ben not going to drop the bolt in time to cancel.
Double TP out. We see a little bit of a skirmish as well between the Lina and the Gyro. Shouldn't really be that exciting though, because she can just Eul Scepter. I think she's going to be fine. She has friends around as well.
And that's just chasing. Colossun's here. Ysera as well. That's not done, but the cooldown's going to scatter a few more heroes. He's got the flat cannon active, pops the BKB to get through the stun.
Okay, they messed up
double kill.
They could run up like straight up, but they ran down again. They didn't expect Net to keep chasing, so just one little mess up there, and Net gets a double kill out of it. They have to respect Gyro's like power. If he keeps chasing, yes, he can kill you in just like 2 hits. But if they ran straight up, they would be perfectly fine. So a little bit of a misplay there.
I mean, could have just, if they had realized that he was chasing, could have just fished it a little bit earlier to keep him blocked.
There was a lot they could have done if they knew, but they didn't have the vision. Didn't have the vision on him really.
Okay, so we've got an Aghanim Scepter now over on the Chen. Let's do a very quick check of the Ancients. There is actually a somewhat lonely ancient granite
there's
golem.
one. Adopt him, please. Someone just take care of him.
He's the.
Look at his face.
He's the last one of the litter.
He's so sad.
He's got a bit of a sad face going on.
Yeah.
He's waiting for the right home. G-Guard are going to have to come and find him a little bit later on. So
Ling, please adopt.
Once they've got... Oh, how much health is this Viper going to have? I mean, once they have the aura, it's just going to be ridiculous.
It's pretty disgusting, especially
it's what, an extra 450, extra 500 health?
As it's one of the most disgusting things is the effective HP of Viper. He has his physical damage resistance to 59%, and he has his magic resistance to 43%, and that's without being close to Rubik. And then you have the Granite Golem on top of it. You're just so ridiculously tanky. And keep in mind, there's also the chance for a medallion to be used onto the Viper. You can make him, you know, sustain through anything.
Yeah, and before long, Chen could be picking up a Solar Crest as well, which is going to add evasion. And I don't even want to think about this Viper anymore. He's just
I don't think anyone has the solution to him, actually. You need to split push completely now. 5EVA need to never let G-Guard get to their base again, I think. Because if they step into the base, I think it's going to be very hard to get them out of there. The Chen having his multiple heals with the ulti and so on. And they even have the pipes, so breaking high ground is not even that hard.
Do you think 5EVA wish that they could transfer farm from the Lesh and the Nature's Prophet to the Razor?
Kind of slingshot their farm into him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, I just feel like there's as much farm on Chibix as there is on either of the two big cores from G-Guard, but the impact is definitely big. You're going to jump in, Echo Slam, Yamate getting focused. Can they do it? Pops the BKB, just going to try and TP out. Hand of God coming in as well. A few more auto attacks, but he's just too tanky. That was 4 heroes and an Echo Slam and a bunch of chain stun, and they still can't bring him down.
I mean, it's a noble effort and all, but that's not gonna work.
Like, he can just defend the base for 30 seconds and then rejoin his team with Boots of Travel.
They've done this 4 times, this going on Viper, and this is the first time that they don't all die for doing it. This time they almost got the Viper killed. They did bring him down once, though, I should mention, in all these attempts, but they also got killed so much for it. Oh god. I think they're just really desperate now. And as for transferring farm, Leshrac, for example, has really bad win rate after 40 minutes in. Before 40 minutes, I think he has like 60% win rate if the game finishes then. And after 40 minutes, it's more like 42% or something. I'm not a stats man, but roughly something like that.
All right, yeah, it just feels that the Lesh's impact is really starting to taper off somewhat. Yamate is just waiting for his Boots of Travel and waiting for his team.
Good Fisher block there, blocked the net, but he does have Butterfly, Satanic, and Aegis, so still a pretty hard hero to bring down.
I'm just going to go regroup with his team, pops the Satanic to get some healing done.
Let's see the HP on Viper now when he TP's in.
Almost 4k health here on Viper. Yamate's running in, they're giving the 2-hero Light Strike Array out. The Chaos is dropping very, very quickly. Philosopher pops the BKB and tries to man-fight with the Static Link, keeping it stuck onto Net, but Net just doesn't care. Keeps on auto-attacking him down. Looks like Miracle will be the next one to fall. Throws a couple of auto-attacks, but they barely dent the Gyro. And buyback already, though. It looks like G-Guard just setting up.
3.9k HP. He's just standing here. He doesn't even need to use
with the
BKB.
No. 136? Regen off of the heart. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Ysera, still no Echo Slam available. They're just fighting into a horde of creeps and heroes. There's still the Aegis on net. G-Guard are not going anywhere until they win this game.
No, that's what I meant. You need to never let them into your base again. And when they expended so much resources trying to kill the Viper on top, they just kind of secured that they're not going to be able to stop them. You need to really split push like hell there, and I think one of the few players who could do it would be Miracle and his team, but not going to be able to shove G-Guard away. They do have the ES ulti coming off cooldown in 5 seconds, but it's level 1. I mean, it's not even gonna face this Viper or Gyrocopter.
Ysera's gonna have to try. They come running in. They're focusing down the Lesh. He dies in a matter of seconds. And all that his team can really do is watch out in horror.
I mean, this is the last attempt. You have to go. Oh, actually, Yamate just found the ES and kills him. Okay. That's
easy peasy with the BKB. Chaos does manage to land the stun, but Yamate is still so tanky. Winter comes in with the Force Staff to get him a little bit further away, dodging out of the way of the Split Earth. Chibix has bought back, but he's just getting right-clicked down. They are managing to fight as a group for now, but Net splits off the Lina, brings her down, and now things have broken up. Chibix running back towards the fountain. Looks like Net's
I love
gonna let him
watching
go,
this Viper's HP region now. It's kind of nice. Just really shooting up in HP again.
I think this is also the third time in this high ground attack that Net has refilled his health completely from this attack. He still has Aegis.
Yeah. He
and okay, yeah. 5 ever going to call the GG. I don't think that there was any doubt about that as we got into the end there.
Yeah. Also, I don't remember what the standings are right now for the group, but it's understandable that you try to the very last moment in many of these games, as of course time rating could be
It's only time rating for if the first round of tiebreakers doesn't break the ties.
Yeah.
So
it's still there, it's still a factor, but we saw earlier like some team that knew for sure that they lost already. 4 anchors, I think it was when they played.
Yeah.